It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Thanks for tuning in this early Thursday morning. Keep in mind you can find this show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And this show, again, all about business owners, entrepreneurs, people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay and regional communities. As always, extend an invite to fellow business owners and people who would like to make an appearance on the show. Feel free to contact me. Best way to get me is either a direct email, jamie@tampabayradio.com, or you can contact me through my contact form on my website. Just head over to tampabayradio.com and click on that. Also on the site, you'll notice that I sell real estate, so you can peruse local real estate listings and see upcoming listings prior to hitting the market via the pre-list properties tab on the homepage. I specialize in the sale of bank-owned properties and am a broker with Coldwell Banker in the South Tampa region. And I and my team work with about 45 different banks and asset management companies. And altogether, me and my team has sold in excess of probably close to 3,000 properties. I myself doing about 1,400 of that. So we are definitely a resource for real estate in the Tampa Bay region. And again, you can catch all of our property listings over at tampabayradio.com. Going to have an entertaining show for you today. In studio right now with me is Charlie the Plumber on behalf of Yeager Flooring, the 830 spot sponsored by Yeager and Company, Jim Yeager. We hear from them each and every Thursday. Charlie's already in studio with me now. Charlie, how you doing this morning?
Hey, Jamie, it's always a great day to be alive in America. Hey, and like I tell my Marine Corps brothers, it's a good day to be dead if you're a terrorist, so kill them when you can.
You said you got a new name, though, today. We're not supposed to call you Charlie. You said Jack Harris gave you a new name, right?
Yeah, Jack Harris. Yeah, we got to talking about ISIS, how they put a hit on that lady from Texas when she put on the Draw Mohammed contest. And, and I'd like to give my shout out to those police officers over there, that police officer for killing the two terrorists that had the AK-47s, Jamie, and they had body armor on too. Let me tell you what, that's a great feat for anybody to do. That was an unfair gunfight, those guys with the AK-47s and shooting at the police officer. Let me tell you what, I'd like to thank that police officer personally. He's a great American. I apologize, I don't have his name right now, but he's a great American. And well, anyway, I started thinking, well, you know what? If ISIS is putting people on their hit list, I told Jack Harris, I want Charlie the Plumber from Odessa, Florida to be put on their official hit list. Remember, Charlie the Plumber from Odessa, Florida. He is now Charlie the Infidel Plumber, as dubbed by Jack Harris on 970 WFLA. You know what, Jamie, that way I don't have to go out looking for him.
You want him to come to you. You want him to come to you, right?
Yeah, and I got something for him. I got something for every one of them, and it ain't going to be pretty. Tell you what, I'm not one that's going to be killing them with kindness.
You got quite an arsenal. I spent a couple Sundays ago with Charlie over at the one of the local ranges, and you brought quite an arsenal with you, I got to say.
Well, it's nice to spend a little bit of quality time with your personal firearms. You know, it's always good to know how to use them just in case of a domestic or a foreign terrorist. And let's face it, Jamie, we got plenty of both. And it's not the law-abiding citizens that we fear. It's not the law-abiding citizens with guns that we fear. The criminals are going to have guns, just like this criminal that wasn't supposed to have a gun up in New York, Jamie. He just killed a police officer. A 25-year-old police officer was just laid to rest. Let's face it, the criminals are going to have guns no matter what. So I'm all about the Second Amendment, about the law-abiding citizens owning guns. And you know what? And if you don't want to own a gun, that's fine too, but don't tread on my rights, my right to own a firearm.
Right.
So you know what? Hey, I'm just happy to be here with you, Jamie. It's like I said, it's another great day to be alive in America. And hey, you're the superstar real estate salesman. And you know what? Hey, that's another great thing that you do, and you help veterans out. You know, you help the veterans buy homes. I love that too. And if I were going to buy a new house, if I'm in the market for it, I know who I'm coming to. Jamie Meloni.
Yeah, I stay pretty busy. I got two ventures here. My radio show is something I do each and every morning. And then, yes, I do go and sell real estate. And some people wonder how I do it all. And I always tell them, well, the system is the solution. I'm very efficient in what I do. And I have a couple of very good assistants that also help me. And you'd be surprised at what you can do, if you just put things in a proper order and it just efficiency works itself out.
Well, that's right. You know what? In Florida is a right to work state. That means you got a right to get off your ass and go to work state. You can work 24 hours a day if you so desire. Why wait for the government to send you something? When was the last time you waited for the government to send you something, Jamie? Probably never.
No. I've always been a hard worker. I started working when I was 16. I had 3 jobs back in high school. Even.
Wow.
I had 3. One was a volunteer job, so I didn't get paid. But I worked for my father for 5 years, 84 Lumber. Put me to work when I was 16 years old. I knew nothing at all. Luckily, came to benefit me years later selling real estate, and that I understand how a home is put together. But I grew up playing baseball, and my father was disappointed when I decided to quit after my sophomore year in high school, and he came home one afternoon and said, all right, you start at 84 Lumber tomorrow at 3 o'clock, be there. And I was like, what the hell? And I was not happy about that. And so I show up, and I tell this story to my friends, and I've probably told it on the air a few times, and I wasn't good for anything. I'm in there, and 84 Lumber is a store that specializes pretty much in contractor sales. And I'm in there with all these contractors walking around asking me this, asking me that. And all I could do in my first few months on the job was sweep the floors. And I'm sweeping the floor one day, and a customer comes up to me asking me, where's the soffit? And I looked at him, I said, I don't even know what soffit is. And so, literally in the first few weeks, I almost quit. I almost told my dad, I can't do this. I had no idea about electrical, about plumbing, all these fittings and lumber all around the yard. And my dad handed me the book, Modern Carpentry, and he said, read this. And so I did. And it's actually a very well put together book, and it taught me a lot about, the building and construction. And as I started to engage the customers more and more, and the different employees around the store would help me out, and I got to be, one of his best employees within a year.
No, OJT, on-job training. I tell you what, it's great. I did the same thing working for my father. I remember I was 16 years old one day working with my father, and we're on a plumbing job, and I'm standing around for a second thinking to myself, boy, this really sucks. I wanted to be on the beach with my girlfriends, but...
Yeah, I almost ended up in a career at 84 Lumber. At age 18, they offered me a pretty good position instead of going to college, and that was just in my my third year of working there, and I turned them down. But my father spent 25 years working for 84 Lumber, and that's a store mostly based in the upper Northeast, founded in 84, Pennsylvania back in, I think, the 60s. And my father grew to be one of their leading store managers, a runner-up manager of the year, 2 years in a row. And that's just in a small store in Elkins, West Virginia. And so, of course, they saw the similarities between he and I. And if anybody has ever seen a picture of me standing next to my father, we are the spitting images of one another.
Oh, that's great. And
both in our appearances and our mannerisms, it's quite uncanny how similar I turned out in terms of appearance to my father. It's quite remarkable. But
another great American family, Jamie. Hey, people say the same thing about myself and my late father, and God bless his soul. And it's like I'm growing in to be my father. You know what? That's not such a bad thing after all. When I was a kid, I might not have thought so, but you know what? My daddy was a pretty good guy after all. He took care of
my father was a big inspiration in my life. Like I said, I spent 5 years working for him, and he also, when I played baseball, he was my coach. And
cool.
And one thing I was able to always do with my father, and I think I've transferred over into business, is I was always able to separate father from boss or father from coach.
Sure.
And so if he was, getting on me about having a poor performance in a game, or if he had to yell at me at the office or whatever at 84 Lumber, I'd come home and I wouldn't think nothing of it. And it's the ability to separate one thing from another. I can remember one story working at 84 Lumber where I ran over a guy's foot on the forklift.
Oh, that's not good. Those things, they crush his foot.
Yes.
Oh, Jamie.
Yeah. I was on the forklift. He was up front on the dock loading some plywood onto the back of his truck with another associate. And I was on the forklift, and I had stopped while they were loading the plywood. And we both looked at each other, and we didn't make any communication other than the look, but they had stopped, and so I hit the gas, and as I hit the gas, he went to kind of push the plywood a little bit more onto the truck, and it kind of kicks that back leg out to kind of give it that push, and I ran over the back of his foot.
Oh, you know what?
And
that'll learn him for putting his foot in the way, right?
His foot is, the funny thing is, he was hopping up and down, screaming, and I was trying my best. My initial reaction was actually to laugh. I was sitting there like, oh my God, I'm trying not to laugh. And then I was like, oh God, now I got to go tell my dad what I did. So, and he wasn't working. It was evenings, and he usually left the store at 5 o'clock. So I had to go home and say, Dad, accident at the store tonight. I ran over a customer's foot on the forklift.
Oh, it was a customer?
Yeah, it was a customer.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good for
Yeah, no, it wasn't an associate. It was a customer.
Oh, that's even worse. Well, you know what? A lot of these warehouses can be dangerous places. Even Home Depot, Lowe's, things have actually fallen on customers and have crushed them. Mm-hmm. It has happened a lot more often than what people realize, and this is why they put up all this netting up around the top. As a matter of fact, kids have been killed in there. One thing that's appalling to me when I see people come in there with their kids and they let their kids, climb up on the shelves or grab things they shouldn't be touching, and it's not a play store.
Yeah, no, 84 Lumber, it was a dangerous store to work in. It was an open warehouse setting, forklifts running around the store, lumber stacks all over the place, and that was just one of a handful of accidents. I can remember offloading a truck of 12-foot drywall with my dad one time, and they had it stacked with 2 stacks on one side of the truck, and then they had 2 stacks on the other side with a stack on top in between the two, and picking up the stack of drywall and pulling it out, and not seeing the stack on the top that was positioned on both of the 2 stacks, and having that fall off the truck and all over the ground. My dad coming around and started screaming at me about losing thousands of dollars worth of drywall because it just broke in half and everything. So
you know what, and if it hits somebody, then you can kill somebody. Now, talking about being crushed, I had a friend of mine, Joe Campbell. He was crushed in an accident. I have a picture right here. It was a union job downtown Tampa. He's in a hospital bed right here. Mm-hmm. Me and my partner, Kenny Cowell, just won the Florida Tag Team title belts. We were the Florida Tag Team champions.
Yeah, you got quite a wrestling career. That's a nice little picture there. I don't know if we can get that up on the Streamcast, Josh. I know he's holding up that picture. Are you able to bring that up on the image on the screen? We do stream all our shows here live in studio.
That's Joe Campbell. He was at the Performing Arts Center. They were unloading a tractor trailer when a 1,000-pound pallet fell right in his waist, and it crushed his pelvic area, almost killed him. And soon after that, we went to the hospital just to see how our brother was doing and try to give him a little bit of moral support. And God bless him. He's still ailing somewhat from today, from the injuries, because that's something that's really, really hard to get over. And my prayers and my thoughts go out to you, Brother Joe. We love you. And
well, hold that point there, Charlie. We're going to be talking a little bit more about wrestling here in just a little bit. We got Shannon Rose, who is quite experienced in the field of professional wrestling. He's going to be joining us here in just a little bit. I got to take a quick break, but if you're just tuning in, you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
This report is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Advance Auto Parts. Wondering if your car's battery is reaching the end of the line? Stop by Advance Auto Parts. They'll test it for you, free of charge. And if you do need a new battery, they'll install that too. Again, no charge. Only at Advance Auto Parts.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
275 northbound, still bumper to bumper from 4th Street all the way up to Lowe's from that earlier crash. Veterans Expressway has an accident off on the shoulder just past Waters. Backups are starting at Ehrlich. I-4 eastbound also has a crash at MLK with backups starting at 50th Street. It is now pushed off to the shoulder. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utica Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Today, mostly sunny, high 86. Tonight, mostly clear, low 68. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 86.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Keep in mind, you can catch the show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, and also learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. First segment there, we're joined by Charlie the Plumber, always entertaining and colorful color commentary from Charlie the Plumber, and in here just about each and every Thursdays. Usually on the second half of the show, in the segment, The Remodeler's Corner, sponsored by Jim Yeager over at Yeager & Company. Learn more about them over at YeagerFlooring.com. Been joined in studio by my guest for today. Shannon Rose started his career in pro wrestling at the age of 12, and over 22 years later, he's worked for everyone from ECW to the NWA. Gordon Soley and Dusty Rhodes gave Shannon his start as a ring announcer, and he has worked with such wrestling stars such as Hulk Hogan, Rob Van Dam, and Mick Foley. He has taken his career to new heights through acting, producing radio and television, and owning his own PR company. Shannon, welcome to the show today.
Well, thanks for having me down here. Sorry it took me a while to get here.
No.
just like the ride seemed like it was going forever. Oh, can they hear me? There we go.
Go ahead there. Go ahead.
Radio 101 there. But.
Yeah, no, this the studio's been upgraded and stuff. We got to turn the microphone on.
I should have known that myself. But anyways, yeah, it took me forever. It seemed like, I was getting there, and then there was more roads and more traffic, and But
hey, we appreciate you being down here, and it's a good fit here. Charlie is a former professional wrestler, and
Sergeant Rock right over there.
Was that your name?
Yeah, among other things, and I've been called worse. Yeah,
He did push-ups. I did a TV show, pro wrestling TV show at the time, and he actually did push-ups in the studio with Ron, the late Ron Slinker. So he was great. He was very boisterous, as you could see. That's how he talked.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's definitely.
Yeah, myself and Ron Slinker were the last two Florida tag team champs here with Florida Championship Wrestling, by the way, and Ron was another great American. He was a Marine Corps Vietnam veteran, worked for TPD,
and Shannon, you started in wrestling at age of 12. Tell me your story about how you got involved with wrestling so early.
Sure, be glad to. The Make-A-Wish Foundation, they thought I had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome for 39 years. Can you imagine you thinking you have one condition, disease for 39 years, and suddenly they tell you the past year that you have muscular dystrophy? So you do Wikipedia, you see me all over there. You see me on Bay News 9, Everyday Hero, and whatnot. But yeah, at 12 years old, I was named, or Make-A-Wish, they granted me a wish to meet Hulk Hogan. And from there, I actually had a chance at 14 years old to go ahead and ring announce back then it was not called independent wrestling, it was just outlaw wrestling. It was in a warehouse. The main event was Mike Awesome against Louis Estea, and the ring announcer didn't show up. And they said, Shannon, both arms were in slings. Can you do this for us? We don't have anybody else, and you seem like you have a passion at 14 years old to do this. They handed me the microphone with both arms in a sling, couldn't move them, and I went ahead and ring announced the match, and the rest is history.
Wow, that's incredible and stuff. And you went on to be in wrestling for what, 20 years or so?
20 years. I still to this day I do events, occasionally. Also, the biggest highlight of my whole career is being in a video game. I actually had a chance to go to Best Buy one day, not plugging them, not getting any money from that, but I went a chance to go to Best Buy, and I was somebody tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and they pointed to the screen, and one of the big highlights was actually seeing myself on all the screens as the likeness of myself and my name right there as the ring announcer for EA Sports MMA video game. Of course, you get a Target now for $2, but that's besides the point. They didn't hire my PR firm.
Charlie was telling before you got in studio today, he remembers you when you were like 12, 13 years old running around some of the wrestling venues there. You can share what you were telling me there.
Yeah, what I liked about Shannon, because we have these little ring brats that would come up and stuff every once in a while. Shannon had that look in his eyes. You could just like I had when I was a kid. I knew he loved it so much. He had a passion for it. Hey, and he still loves it. That's great. You know what?
Back in the day, my TV show, I was with the first person interview, The Rock. His dad, Rocky Johnson, brought him to the studio. He said, "Can you give my boy 5 minutes?" I'm like, less than that. I don't know who he is. Right. I don't know what's going to... And of course, we lost...
We're right.
We're okay there. A dark match. But anyway, let me tell you, but at that point, what happened then is I had him on just for a few minutes, and I kicked myself now thinking... I could have had him on a lot longer, and he became The Rock, but I can say it was the first live interview for The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, big superstar making $1 billion. He doesn't answer my call now, though. I even told his dad, I ran to his dad the other day, I said, your son's not answering my calls.
Yeah, you got to call him back on that. He gave me his first interview. That's not right.
Hey, Shannon, when me and Kenny were wrestling as the Star Writers, Rock and Blade, I was The Rock before The Rock was The Rock.
That's true. Well, there was The Rock Don Morocco, though. But yeah, you were The Rock back in the day, too.
Oh, I know. But you know what? We used to work with Rocky Johnson. What a great guy he was. The Rock's father, Dwayne Johnson. You know what? Nobody does it better than him. What a character. The number one paid actor in Hollywood. He can wrestle. He can bodybuild. The guy looks great. He's a tough guy. He's funny. He can dance. He can sing. He does it all.
Yeah. Did you ever call any of his matches when he was in the ring?
Actually, I did. I had a chance at the Tampa Sportatorium. And they're doing something, by the way, speaking of one of the venues that he was at, Fort Homer Hesterly Armory, they've now made into the Jewish Community Center. And if you go to GoFundMe online, you can actually donate because they're trying to do a wall of fame for all the wrestlers that were there for so many years because they made it into a new venue. So go to GoFundMe and you can donate on there.
Yeah, Jody Simon has a lot to do with that. That's the great Malenko's son, one of them, Dean
Malenko.
Dean Malenko, but his brother Jody, and he has a lot to do with this because, hey, when I was a kid, I used to go to the Armory and watch Dusty Rhodes and Dick Slater, Dick Murdoch, the Briscoe brothers, the Funk brothers. Let me tell you what, that was some of the best wrestling I've ever seen in my life. It was the real deal.
See, I had a chance to be brought up by Dusty and Gordon the latter days of Florida Championship Wrestling. So a lot of the guys that come up today are getting trained by guys that don't have any experience or not trained by veterans. I had a chance to be in the midst of all that in the latter days, so I was lucky.
Yeah, it's. I know you both have got some great stories. I got to take another quick break here for the bottom of the hour. But if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Charlie the Plumber, or now Charlie the Infidel Plumber, as we got to call you now. Your new name there.
I'm on their hit list, so come and get me, ISIS.
And also Shannon Rose, known as Mr. Hollywood. He's got an extensive background in professional wrestling, public relations, and a lot more. He's got some great stories to share with us coming up on the second half of the show. So stay tuned in. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
That's myfreeyp.com. myfreeyp.com.
It's time for the Morgan & Morgan Legal Brief.
A firm's mission statement defines your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We take very seriously our obligations to our clients, many who come to us in their most desperate hour. Our mission is you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
I-4 eastbound has a new wreck at MLK off on the shoulder. Backups are starting at 22nd. If you're on the westbound side, we have onlooker delays. 275 northbound still has lingering delays from that earlier crash, and it's bumper to bumper from 4th Street up to Lois Avenue. See a traffic problem? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utica Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Winds Weather Center forecast. High today reaching the mid-upper 80s, similar to the past couple of days. Not as breezy, though. Very small chance of a shower. Partly sunny skies. Tonight's low down to 70. Impact Radio 1250 Winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Keep in mind, you can catch this show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. and learn more about the show over at tampabayradio.com. Also, you can find me on demand. Catch me on iTunes. Just search for That Business Show, so you can catch the podcasts anytime you like on iTunes. Also on TampaBayRadio.com, you can see all the past shows, both the podcast and the streamcasts. These shows are streamed live here in the studio. So on the main page, you'll see a link to the live stream. Just click on that, and you can see all the action in the studio each and every morning. In studio with me today, Charlie the Plumber, always entertaining and colorful Charlie the Plumber. Thank you very much for joining me in studio today. This segment sponsored by Jim Yeager of Yeager & Company. They are a third-generation flooring company based up in Odessa, Florida. Jim Yeager, unfortunately, unable to be with us. He's still recovering from a surgery. He joined me last week via phone and gave us some great information on kitchen cabinets and remodeling, and a very experienced general contractor. Reach out to them for all your flooring and remodeling needs, and pretty much anything in the construction and building industry. They can definitely help you out, and if he can't, I'm sure he's got somebody that can help you out, from plumbing with Charlie the Plumber here in studio, and electricians, things of that nature. He's worked with me on a number of jobs. And again, learn more about them over at YeagerFlooring.com. Also joined in studio today by Mr. Hollywood, Shannon Rose. So, Shannon, I want to know how you got the name Mr. Hollywood. Tell me about that.
Well, if it's okay to mention another radio personality here. But,
sure. No, go right ahead.
I did a lot of things with wrestling and moved on from there, and even though I occasionally do that. But I appeared on a Man Cow, the nationally syndicated show, and he coined me Mr. Hollywood, which is pretty cool, and I've used it from there. I ring announce, but then I moved into managing as a bad guy, or heel manager, as they say, and I managed this guy named the Cuban Assassin, Fidel Sierra. I actually lost my hair in a match. At one point.
Your hair was one of those ones.
Nice payday, but yeah, I lost my hair.
Was that one of those ones where they shaved your head if you lost or something?
Well, my wrestler lost, so then I went back to the locker room to console him, and of course, other wrestlers decided, the biggest house we ever had, and they decided to drag me back into the ring. Bruce Santee clotheslined me, and then they went ahead and shaved my head. The owner did, Dante Brown, and yeah, he shaved, but it looked like a spike, so I had to go somewhere and go all the way bald.
So in addition, and now you actually got in the ring and then got some in-ring action then,
clothesline,
correct?
Yeah. I don't know if I could do it these days with the the medical condition. The doctors, from the start, the doctors always said, you're going to be in a wheelchair, you're not going to do anything. And I said to them, I'm going to do a lot of things. And this dates back to when I was 11, 12 years old. And I said, there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to accomplish. I'm coming out with a book where that's in the midst right now, and a movie off the book. So, and I'm doing my own national show now, Entertainment This Week. So there's a lot of cool things happening for me.
Yeah, how did you get hooked up with Man Cow, and how did you get, that's a huge thing. Man Cow, out of Chicago, nationally syndicated talk personality. How did you get hooked up with him and get that role as an entertainment reporter?
Well, I tell you, with the video game coming out and a bunch of media that cover me, I was on Daily Buzz, nationally syndicated on the CW network, now no longer in the air. But yeah, there was a bunch of shows I was on, and Man Cow just contacted me and said, we'd like to interview you. And they love my enthusiasm. They love the passion they heard. And they decided, at that time I was on a few stations across the country, and that just got me on a bunch of them across the country.
That's correct. Now, we've peppered in a little bit about your story, your muscular dystrophy, correct? That you suffer.
It's called limb girdle.
Okay, tell me that story. You couldn't move your arm for like many years or something. Tell me that story and how, because it's just incredible how you battled through that.
Right. When I was 12 years old, I woke up, one arm was paralyzed, and they said that there was a 10% chance the other arm would become paralyzed. And of course, guess what happens? It becomes paralyzed. I went to the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. They flew in a doctor, Dr. Peter Dick, and he couldn't do anything for me. He said, we don't know what's happening. We don't know why this is happening. And over the time, I went ahead and conquered all. It's all. Sometimes I say it's mind over matter, and that's what's happened. I've overcome so many challenges. In fact, this past November, I passed out at my house. Actually, it was at a talk I did at HCC. And they thought I looked a little sick. The next day, I passed out. That day, they went ahead and said, you have double pneumonia and you have kidney failure. And over the next 2 months, I died almost twice, and I was on life support. And that was just this past November, and look at me now.
That's incredible. What was that? Pneumonia, or what did you have?
Double pneumonia. I was at 3 different hospitals. I was laying down for 8.5 weeks.
Wow.
Well,
go ahead, Charlie.
Hey, you know what? Praise the Lord, man. I'm glad that you pulled through, and you give it all up to Jesus. Hey, and we'll keep you in our prayers, Shannon.
Now, the paralysis that you experienced in your arm, what age did that hit you at?
That was at 12 years old, and one arm and then the other arm.
And then how long did that last?
That lasted for about 8 years, and it comes and goes. It's hard for me. In fact, quick story. Sometimes when I get on the floor or have to pick up something, it's hard for me to get back up. And my dog, he had a collar that got latched onto the side of his cage, and in the middle of the night I had to unlatch him. I got on the ground and I couldn't do it, so then I did it finally. He actually helped me. I held on to him, helped me to the cage. I got up using him. So there you go. Dogs sense that you just helped them, they're going to do something back for you. And I had to pull myself up on a chair to get back up, and just doing those things, I'm incredibly sore today. That's the thing. I got up this morning. I'm not an early riser, and but I had to say, I had to do the show. So,
and I appreciate you making the early start to the morning.
Hey, that's why dogs are man's best friend. You know what? They didn't say anything about women, but
that's another story for another time.
And now you've gotten yourself so well connected, and I'm on your email list, and you represent a number of clients in the public relations field. I mean, how did you connect with so many people? And Nate, tell us some of the people that you're connected to in Hollywood.
Well, a gentleman by the name of Mark Larson, if you remember that name.
Mark Larson, yeah.
Yeah, I produced his show. In fact, Charlie, you called up in his show many times. He told me what you should get into doing PR. You should get into entertainment. So one of my first clients, stemming from the show when I was no longer at the other station, which we won't mention, who is also a local network here, but Chris Markowski, the Watchdog on Wall Street, he was one of my first clients. He's still my client today, and it just blossomed. I mean, I had him on. It was during the Bernie Madoff stuff, and we had him on CNN, Fox News, and then another big time client, Robert Mazer. Now you may know that name from The Infiltrator. It was just filmed in Tampa Bay. And he came to me and he wanted more publicity, and we got him on again. Anderson Cooper, Fox News, CNN. In a year's time, I had an email from Brad Furman, who's a big-time Hollywood producer, say, I see all this publicity. We would like to go ahead and do something, a movie on Robert Mazer. So I was the first kind of, the email that he saw to get this going. So you could say that I started that whole thing.
And you also did you have a public access television show and things of that nature? So you've been in the media for 20 some years now, correct?
Exactly. I mean, I've worked, been behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, worked for Channel 10. I had a public access show, Jones Intercable at first, if you remember that, then Time Warner. But I was there for a good number of years. That's where Rocky first met me, and we did the show. And that was when I was 14, 15 years old, and I would produce it. I would plan it, everything. And that was when I was very sick. I mean, I've been sick lately, worse than I've ever been, but then I was very sick as a kid.
And now you're launching a radio show, and I'm happy to be joined in studio by another fellow radio show host. I think that's quite inspirational, and to see people getting into the radio business. Tell me about your new radio show and what it's going to be about.
Sure. It's on America's Talk Radio Network. It's called Entertainment This Week. And I interview celebrities. Pretty much it's inside the mind of Mr. Hollywood. So I like comic books. I like pro wrestling. It's a lot of Hollywood. I mean, we're going to have some Survivor cast members coming up this week. We're going to have a Robert Mazer part 2 of his interview talking about exclusive stuff about The Infiltrator. Also, Derek Huff from Dancing with the Stars. So those are the kind of things you're going to be able to. So you can just Google America's Talk Radio Network, and you can listen to my show on there.
And is you going to have a lot of pro wrestling guests, things of that nature on there too, or is it mostly going to be Hollywood people?
We're going to have a mix, more Hollywood stuff, but we're going to have a smattering of pro wrestling in there too.
Okay, and you're also the first wrestling match. I see you mentioned you're involved with Ted Webb, Jack Harris, who hosts the morning show up there.
Right. Well, I tell you, what happened was Ted Webb, when I was around 8 years old, I called into his old sports rap show, if you remember. And that was kind of my first. I used to call Bill Murphy, Murphy in the Morning on Channel 10. And, it's one of those things where Ted and Jack I've known forever. In fact, one of the promos I did with Jack Harris, I always remind him, I had to dress up as a clown and one time as a gorilla and wave to people because I was an intern over here at Clear Channel, or iHeart, or whatever you guys call it these days. But and I had to wave to people. And, of course, Jack was just shaking hands, and I had to be out there sweating like anything. But I tell you, it was a great experience, and they are my mentors. In fact, I'm going to be talking to Ted today, and Ted Webb and Jack Harris are just incredible.
And I'm over at your website. People can learn more about Shannon Rose over at the website, imshannonrose.com. And I'm over here right now, and your PR firm, I want to talk a little bit more about that because people can use your services for this. And I tell you what, I'm on your email list, and you're promoting a lot of people, so you definitely get the word out excuse me, to media professionals to promote your guests. Eclectic Media Productions is the name of your PR firm. But tell me more about this and for people that are interested in public relations.
I tell you, we have an eclectic crew of people that we represent. Everyone from Jacqueline Darna, who has a no nausea bracelet where you can put it on and you don't have to worry about taking Zofran and all these other things to stay away from being nauseous. Also, we have Robert Mazer, Chris Markowski, Niall Nickel talking about apps and whatnot. So we have a variety of people. We've represented Danny Bonaducci in the past. So those are the kind. Diamond Dallas Page, when he started DDP Yoga and it became a big phenom of interest. We kind of launched that. So there's a lot of things in the past that we've done and present that we do for our clients. And one thing about our clients is not only do we work, a lot of PR firms just hit local to their market. We hit not only local, but also national publicity. And we want to get your name. We want to take it to the next level. That's our whole thing. And we work 110% to make sure it's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible in the number of emails that I'm getting from you. So you're definitely getting the word out. What type of reach are you getting in terms of getting people in front of the media professionals out there?
Sure. We've had them in Sports Illustrated, Time Magazine. We've made people that weren't pertinent again. Willie Ames, who's that? Yeah, back in the day, he was something when on 8 is Enough. He was a client at one time. Then we've had people like, again, Robert Mazer, who he got a movie deal. So those are the kind of things that we've blossomed. We've made our clients happy because we want to do stuff for them.
Yeah, so you got another site, rosecasting.com, where you help people with movies, videos, things of that nature. Tell me a little bit about this.
Sure. I do acting classes in Tampa at McAllister's Deli, and our next class is June 13th. And also we do it at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in Orlando. We do it twice a month. And then we also cast people outside of that, and we did the movie America, Anesta Souza's movie. We casted most of the people on that movie.
Wow,
it was actually pretty cool because on Netflix I had a chance to see my name in the credits, casted by Shannon Rose. That was pretty awesome.
Hey, that's what I need. I need some acting lessons because I don't know how to act.
There you go. There's one of your characters right there, Shannon.
He needs a lot more than that. But
maybe some Prozac. You get.
So yeah, you can learn more about Shannon Rose over at imshannonrose.com or over at rosecasting.com. We were just talking about that. Got to take another quick break. Coming back from the break, though, we're going to be talking a little bit more with Shannon Rose and Charlie the Infidel Plumber here on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
This report is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Advance Auto Parts. Wondering if your car's battery is reaching the end of the line? Stop by Advance Auto Parts. They'll test it for you, free of charge. And if you do need a new battery, they'll install that too. Again, no charge. Only at Advance Auto Parts.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
I-4 eastbound has a crash at MLK off on the shoulder, causing backups to 22nd. If you're on the westbound side, you're going to find onlooker delays and an accident on the exit ramp to 75. It looks like it's on the southbound side off on the shoulder. I'm seeing delays in Seminole Park Boulevard at Starkey Road for a crash blocking the right lane. See a traffic problem? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utica Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
Today, mostly sunny, high 86. Tonight, mostly clear, low 68. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 86.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Thanks for staying tuned, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Please keep the show on each and every weekday at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, and take a break from all the political talk and other, negative stuff that's on the airwaves. So with a positive show each and every morning about business owners, entrepreneurs, people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay community. That's what That Business Show is all about. I invite you over to my website, tampabayradio.com, where you can learn more about the show, catch past shows, see our upcoming guests, as well as review all of our past guests via the Guest Networks tab. You click on that and you'll see all the show cards of all the guests that we've come through here. Click on their cards and you can see their show interviews live in studio. All the shows are streamed live, so just click onto that and you'll see their interviews. And also, you can watch us each and every morning. Just click the live stream button from the homepage and tune us in each and every morning. If you're not, or if you're on the road, keep us on 1250 WHNZ. Joined in studio today, Charlie the Plumber in studio with us today on behalf of Jim Yeager & Company. Thursday 8:30's the Remodeler's Corner. Jim unable to be with us, but he's with us in spirit as always. And Charlie in here representing Jim Yeager today.
Yeah, good morning, Jim. I'd like to say good morning to my brother Jim and his wife Susan. A couple great American entrepreneurs, and I hope you get to feeling better, Jim. You're in my prayers, and I love you, brother.
And learn more about Jim Yeager and Yeager & Company over at YeagerFlooring.com. Again, they are a third-generation flooring and remodeling company, and they can help you out with pretty much everything you need in the construction space. Over on their site right now, Yeager Flooring, they have a few sales going on laminate flooring, things of that nature. And as always, if you mention you heard about him on the radio, I'm sure he'll give you a great deal on something. He's always mentioning that. So he loves to hear that you heard him on the radio. So again, YeagerFlooring.com, and reach out to Jim Yeager directly.
Yeah, he does the most beautiful bathrooms, kitchens, custom flooring jobs, from the custom jobs to the average Joe type of job. And let me tell you what, they're all beautiful, Jamie.
Yeah, and he's got a great showroom up there. People can go up there and actually, peruse different cabinet offerings, flooring offerings, things of that nature. So, I mean, he's not a contractor with a truck. I mean, he's got a showroom. He's got the whole nines in place.
Yeah, a bunch of trucks, bunch of employees. He got interior decorators. Hey, Melanie's one of the best, and hey, she does a tremendous job. And I'll tell you what, she can design, something that you'll like, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Also in studio with me today, my guest, Shannon Rose, Mr. Hollywood. And we're talking throughout the segment a little bit about professional wrestling, your PR firm, your battles with muscular dystrophy and pneumonia last year that almost took your life. And, I'm a big pro wrestling fan myself. And, tell me a little bit, since you've been in the business 20 years, what it's become today. Are you still a fan today versus the way it was in the 80s and 90s? indies.
I like surprises sometimes. I mean, I love independent wrestling here. We have Florida Underground Wrestling, Evolve, and other Shine. There's other groups that run in this area, ACW. But, the national front at WWE, it has to really surprise me. I like a lot of NXT stuff that they're doing now. A lot of the up-and-comers. There's a platform for guys to get ready for WWE. Seth Rollins, there's an incredible amount of Kevin Steen's on there. Just incredible, great wrestling. And I want to use that word wrestling that's on there versus the sports entertainment.
One thing I don't like what they're doing right now is what they've been doing with like Brock Lesnar, the champion.
Brock Lesnar.
I do not like that guy.
I worked with Paul Heyman, though. I loved Paul Heyman.
He's definitely a character, very talented
I worked
guy,
for ECW for a short period, yeah.
But it's just, I don't like Brock Lesnar. I don't think he...
But see, he brings that realism to the sport. I mean, I think he's great. He works a little tighter, as they say in wrestling. So when you get hit, you're going to feel it really hard.
Well, he's a heel too. Let me tell you what, he's a real life heel, Shannon. He's a real tough guy too. And from people that I know that have met him, he's not a real nice guy.
But I'm sure the guys in the back don't like this guy because he comes in just for the pay-per-views. If that, he doesn't.
But what
work
did Hogan do back in the day? I mean, that's
but Hogan came up through the ranks and worked the circuits and stuff.
But
and
he worked the pay-per-views mainly and very little TV. He did some interviews and whatnot.
And the fact that they had Brock Lesnar beat the Undertaker at WrestleMania last year.
It had to happen eventually. I mean,
but they should have given that to an up-and-coming guy or something. I mean, Brock Lesnar.
You could say Bray Wyatt, but I mean, I love Bray Wyatt. Yeah.
Well, Brock Lesnar is my idea of a professional wrestler. By the way he looks, the guy's a beast.
No, he is. I'm not saying he's not talented.
When you see Brock, as somebody that's not a fan, you're going to say, "Wow, this guy can really hurt someone."
Well, he can, but now he comes. He gets the strap for a year or whatever, and now he goes on suspension angle and stuff. He just doesn't work the circuit as much. I don't know. I would imagine there's some animosity in the back room with the other wrestlers because he's not.
Yeah, no, it depends who you are. But I mean, look at John Cena. I mean, he gets booed out every time. He's one of the most humble guys around. I heard one of the nicest too.
Yes, he is.
Except when I interviewed him on circuit one time, that he didn't like my interview. But it's one of those things where he's a likable. They love to hate him. Is John Cena?
Well, yes, you're right. I met him in person. He was a nice, humble young fella, very respectful, Shannon. And another guy I'd like to mention, which were very well, Steve Kern. He trained all these guys from Nexus and out there. He trained them here in Tampa. Then they went to Orlando. And Steve Kern just currently retired with the WWE.
Yeah, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes is still there training the guys how to do promos, interviews, on there.
Yeah, is the wrestling school that was based in Tampa, is it no longer in Tampa?
It's in Orlando right now.
It's at the Performance Center, NXT. It's NXT, pretty much. That's what NXT is.
It's NXT. Mm-hmm. And another thing, we need more just competition in professional wrestling. I mean, the WWE is pretty much the only thing out there. How is NW or the
TNA?
NWA?
TNA is doing better. The ratings actually on Destination America, which I don't have, but actually I cut the cord. I do not have cable. I just use apps. WWE app. What's called Hulu, Netflix. But anyways, I digress. But going back to that is the fact is that, they're doing well. TNA is doing better. And then there's the up-and-coming ROH is doing better. I heard ROH is talking to a couple of major networks.
Yeah, ROH being Ring of Honor.
Spike TV's still out there. They still want professional wrestling back.
Yeah. Did you ever get to meet Vince McMahon back in the day?
I actually met him at Road Warrior Hawks. I was a friend of Road Warrior Hawks. And at Hawk's funeral, I met Vince and HBK.
What did you think of him? I always like to ask people that have met him.
I met him for a very quick moment, and you feel that McMahon charisma just shaking his hand. Mm-hmm. And I tried to talk to him, and of course, it was a funeral, so you couldn't really say too much.
Right.
But you felt that McMahon type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, he just a lot of people don't know he changed wrestling in the 80s after he took over from his father, and he took the realism out of it, so to speak, and he let everybody know that this is a show. It's a I call it a soap opera for men myself.
Let me just put this to rest: is that it's sports entertainment. The guys get hurt.
Oh, they
every
do.
day
Yes.
they get in the ring. I've gotten hurt just as a ring announcer. I've had a couple, toes broken or whatever, just jumping off the ring. But I just getting in the ring get hurt. So let me tell you, it's a tough sport. I give every one of them credit. Even when I go out to be a heel manager, it's a lot of work, Yeah, especially for somebody as in shape as I am.
Charlie shared a great story of getting hurt in the ring a couple of shows ago. So yeah, he can definitely attest to that.
I've had chairs busted over my head. I've actually been hurt. You know what? The thing is, you don't have to even try to hurt somebody to be hurt out there. I mean, you try to protect the other guy, but sometimes you get guys out there that just want to hurt you. So you get a little bit of everything. For most part, the guys are professional.
I think Jamie's going to hit you with a steel chair if you don't be quiet.
No, Charlie, he always goes long and everything. But yeah, we got about a minute left here, so yeah, I got to wrap it up. But Charlie, great commentary today. Thank you very much, as always, for coming in and supporting the show.
My pleasure, Jamie.
And also to Shannon Rose.
Great. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you very much. And definitely going to stay in touch with Shannon. Very entertaining guy and very accomplished. And congratulations to him for overcoming the obstacles.
You're going to treat me to breakfast now, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll go get some breakfast.
It's good seeing you, Shannon. Haven't seen you for some years, but hey, we go way back, huh?
Yeah. And also thanks to Jim Yeager & Company for sponsoring the Thursday 8:30 segment of the Remodeler's Corner. Learn more about them over at YeagerFlooring.com. I hope everybody has a great Thursday. Keep in mind, you can find this show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. This show is about business owners, entrepreneurs, people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay community. And if you're interested in making an appearance on the show, please feel free to reach out to me. Contact form on my website, tampabayradio.com, or email me directly, Jamie at tampabayradio.com. I hope everybody has a great day. Catch you back in here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.